Ruslan.
I was raised on the same stuff, hip hop, right? And then coming into the faith a bit later on in life, I feel like it allowed me to maintain some degree of connection to art and culture, right? And not just be like
Mhm.
completely submersed in Christian culture.
Sure.
Talk a little bit about that and some of the pros of maybe coming to faith in your late teens, early 20s versus, folks that like don't really know anything about music or art and they're so
Yeah.
immersed in just straight Christian culture.
Yeah, well, my mom was always a Christian from as far as I can remember back. So she would try to take me to like youth groups and
Mhm.
things like that as a kid. And most of the time, I just didn't like them, didn't want to be there. I was really into hip hop, and that obviously like wasn't acceptable, or like a lot of the kids there didn't like that
Mhm.
stuff. So I never really fit in very much there. But like later on, like you're saying, in my late teens, I had like a real experience where I felt like I had established my own connection with my own relationship with God, and then I started to find this community of people that cared about Jesus and they cared about making cool art, and that was like such a rare thing for me to find because I think being a Christian and being young, it can be very lonely, because
Mm.
you can feel like I don't have anybody who really understands me or likes sneakers or likes, and so you walk into a church or a place. It's much different now, I think,
Yes, much
but
different.
it's much different now. But that's a culture that's been created over the last 15 years. You know what I'm saying? 20 years or however long.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I also never really wanted to be a Christian artist.
Hmm.
I remember, and that's mostly how people see me for the most part.
Hmm.
And that's like a interesting title that I've tried to like weave through, navigate through my whole career, especially as I've changed as a man. But um, I never wanted to be a Christian artist. I remember talking to like Alex Medina early on when we were going to college, and I was like, "Yo, I don't really want to be in this world. I want to make my
Hmm.
music,
Hmm.
do things like the way I want to do them, and like go the backdoor route around introducing people to faith or the ideas of faith."
Hmm.
And I remember I just got a lot of slander for that because at that point, like, it was people was not with it. They're like, "Nah, bro."
Yeah.
I remember, I remember, I was like challenged to delete every song on my iTunes folder that it was
It
like
was the
it
it
was
was the modern equivalent of throwing away all your secular CDs. You
it was
delete
that.
everything on your iTunes.
Was that. A lot of the friends I was hanging from and learning ideas from were very like hardliner at that point in time in their life. And it's funny because none of them are hardliners anymore. They're all like, I'm not
Hmm.
even sure if I'm a Christian type vibes.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't
so yeah,
it?
so the cue I was taking cues from them, and it was really at the end of the day, I was like, I probably should have just followed what my instincts were from the beginning about
Yeah.
this whole deal. But nonetheless, here we are, and yeah, so I think that's I've never enjoyed, for example, like I hate might be a strong word, but like I really dislike worship music. I feel weird being around overly churchy Christian people. It just like doesn't feel real. It's weird to me. So I've never had like a strong affinity to like finding part of my identity in like church culture.
Hmm.
It's always been in like hip hop and music and fashion and basketball and stuff like that. So um, yeah, it's been a weird emergence. I talked about this today with my wife. I was like, man, we were going through the airport and I saw a kid with a shirt that said "Virginity Rocks" on it, and I was like, he must be wearing that shirt ironically. And she's like, I don't think he's wearing it ironically. I think he's dead serious. And I was like,
Yeah.
man, that's crazy. And I said, I wonder if that kid's a fan of my music. And I said, you know what's funny? There's some Christians who like don't rock with me at all because I'm not Christian enough, and then there's a
Right.
lot of people who are not Christians. They're like, oh, you're a Christian, dude. I'm not going to rock with your music. So
Right.
it's
Right.
weird to feel like you land somewhere in the middle where you're not holy enough or you're too holy for some.
Yeah, I think that is something that creative people have dealt with probably for a long time and will continue
Yeah.
dealing with to some degree. Um, it was the same, you know, when we were doing the breaks, when I first met you way back then, 10, 12 years ago, it was the same thing. We were considered the liberal Christians. And I was like, we don't drink, we don't smoke, we like, what does that mean? Like, we're not having sex with our girlfriends. Like, what are you talking about? And it's like, but you know, but y'all don't believe these things, and these are the things you need to believe, because if you don't got this inside, then your theology is sus, right? And to your point, you know, people grow and evolve and change, and I think that is the frustrating part that can be is sometimes people go to art for theology, and I'm always like, why don't you go to theologians for theology, right? Like, go to artists for art and get theology from Bible teachers and preachers and pastors and people that are in that space. So it always seems like this this weird standard that people are held to, which brings me to, you know, coming in hot, goes gold, crazy takeover. You got, you know, Kim Kardashian, all these people posting it. And then there's some, you guys are kind of catching some flack for it, right? And I'm like, I don't know if you saw any of my videos, but I made quite a few videos kind of defending you guys. I joked and said this is the Reach Records apologist channel. And I made quite a few videos defending you guys because I'm like, yo, what do you want? Like, this is a dope song that's touching culture, that's not made like for the church. It's from the church, not for the church. It's from Christians, not necessarily for Christians. It's for all people. This is a win. Like, this is a massive win. What are you upset about, right? How did you process some of that criticism coming at your way from maybe some of the people that like, oh, Andy, you didn't say Jesus enough on Coming in Hot? Like, what was your kind of, because I'm looking at the macro and I'm like, this is a win, fam. Like, because people are going to go down the catalog, people are going to go and do their Googles, because now this is a huge moment. And how did you process that when it was happening just a few months ago? And, you know, because the highs are like, yo, Kim Kardashian, all these people are posting it, and then the flip side is like, now you're guilty by association because Kim posted it and had something kind of sketchy on. Like, it made no sense to me, but I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
It's weird. I feel like I've just been blocking out that type of language or energy for a long time, anyways. Okay. So, like, the fact that people say those things is no longer a shock at all to me. And I actually went into my Instagram and I blocked certain words.
I didn't know you could do this. So, I do this on YouTube. I didn't know you could do this on Instagram.
You can do this on Instagram. And like, some of the ones I blocked, I think were like, really? ? You know, like, whatever accusatory like statements that you would get. Yes. I just blocked tons of them. I think I blocked a lot of words. And so, like, I barely see some of that stuff. But at the end of the day, I think what it comes down to is like, wow, these people have no idea who you are, what your life is like. They have nothing to really base these things off of. And most of the time it's like young 20-something kid who thinks he knows everything and trying to tell you stuff, you know, and you're just like, or just some people that, you know, some people that like just don't really consider the nuance of what it means to live a life fully as a Christian, you know, and how there's a lot of liberties in that. There's a lot of differences and opinions and methods of how to live out your faith. Yeah. And I'm just like, I don't know if I got time I barely got time and energy to invest in the people in my life that I love and care about. Like, I don't do them enough service. Yeah. So, like, how do I look fighting with you on the internet? Like, bro, I got friends I need to call. Yeah. You know, I have like text messages from Ruslan I need to respond to. Like, I don't do a good enough job taking care of that. Yeah. Let alone like trying to defend myself on the internet. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, I said it in a record recently, but I was like, I don't make for good TV as much these days. But it, like, I don't make for good TV, but it makes me a better man. Like, I forgot what I said on 1988. But it was like, when you let things slide, when you're not picking fights, when you're not like on the internet for blood, it's like, it doesn't make for good TV, but it makes me like a better human, a better man. And I think that's what I'm focused on working on. And so
I love that, bro. That's so refreshing to hear. One of the things I learned in therapy was give up the need to defend. give up the need to defend. You don't always have to defend yourself. If you're certain and your identity is solid in what you're doing, you don't have to go out of your way to defend yourself.
Kingstream Entertainment. Ruslan.
When the culture says do what you love, we respond with love what you do. You may have responsibilities that you aren't passionate about, but loving what you do means being faithful to what's in front of you, committing to excellence as if that were your greatest dream. Colossians 3:23 says, work diligently at whatever you do, as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people.
Love what you do. Love what you do.
Kingstream Entertainment. Ruslan.
Yo, thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. If you found it valuable, considering giving it a like and subscribing. This month, I'm releasing the Love What You Do collection. And to celebrate, I'm doing a 3-day virtual event to help us go from learning to love what we do to ultimately doing what we love. By the way, it's free, so hit the link in the description to grab your seat today.